Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for today. We're talking Friday, December 5th. Happy Friday, everybody. The Splash Zone is back in your life. I'm going to have 5 NBA player prop picks for you guys to lock in for today's NBA betting slate. I am playing today pretty heavily, but we do have a pretty massive slate of games as well. So obviously the more games, the more spots there are to choose from. One of them is an under. I also have, I believe, 4 plus money bangers as well, including one that's pretty juicy. We're going to talk about all of that. But before we do, let's do a recap from yesterday, which was a tough day. It was not terrible, down 0.9 units, but everything started off fantastically that I thought it was going to be another really good day, and then it did not end fantastically. Marvin Bagley, I think, had 5 rebounds in the first quarter alone, and the end of the game with 6. Now, the Wizards are always able to be blown out. That's always going to be a concern. But I thought Bagley was going to be able to get 8 boards. He did not. Collier, I thought he was going to play more minutes, and he did not. He played early, got 2 quick assists, was feeling good about that one, but just played limited minutes, only had 3 assists. So I was incorrect in how I thought his minutes were going to go in that one, which is how you end up with a day where you only get 1 of 3 plays right. Now, we were red hot heading into yesterday. We had won 6 straight. We had won 8 of our last 9 from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it was only natural to have a downswing after that. Luckily, we didn't completely lose everything, but was hoping to have another winning day in a row just to kind of keep that streak alive. We're still working our way back into the green on the year. As you can tell, down 10 units, is disgusting. And really, 2 horrific stretches is what has caused the unit loss you see here. The first 2 days of the year, I lost 6 straight, literally my first 6 plays. Then I had a stretch over the course of last week where I lost 10 straight plays, was just terrible, got reverse swept like 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row. Was just terrible. So like I said, we're still working our way to get back into the green on the year, but with the way things have been going this week, hopefully we're able to continue that with a good day today on what's a pretty big card that I have. So make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out Props Madness, which is what you see on the screen here. So I'll go through my 5 plays officially, or my 5 official plays, I should say, and then I will talk to you about leans and stuff that I had as well. But the first play that we have here is Cade Cunningham, and I'm taking him on the points. I'm taking him 30 plus points, which you can get. The best offered price on that is plus 140 at both Bet365 and DraftKings. Now, you might be able to get a little bit of a better DraftKings price right now, because when I locked it in, I don't think DK had minus 104 on over 27.5. So you actually might be able to get a better price, but go ahead and check that out. If not, minus 140 is what I got, and it is what we're officially locking in here. Let me zoom out just a little bit, a little too zoomed in. So the thing with Cade, you look at the year, he's gone over 9 of 19 games, but you look at him, actually, that's at the 27.5. You look at the 30 number. He's gone over in 7 of his last 15. Now, 2 of the games he missed, right? We see 29 points here. We see 29 points here. And even had some good games like 26, 25, 24. Only twice has he had games where he just completely didn't do anything with, and actually ended up being his last 2 games with 18 and 17 points. But since the beginning of the year, he has been scoring more. And I like the fact that you just look at this graph. It's over in 4 of 6 games, and then it's under in like 2 of 7, 2 of 8, 2 of 9 from there. That's just kind of the highs and lows of how things go. In 2 of these games recently, he went under. Like you look, since he scored 46 points, 2 of the games he went under, 29 points, 29 points. So if you look at what his line was priced at, it's a heck of a lot better going over his main line prop of 5 of 8. Now we're pumping him up to 30, mostly because the matchup is fantastic. Just an incredible matchup for him to score. The Blazers, as my dog says hello, must love this play, are a great matchup for point guard props. You hover over the matchup here and you see a lot of green. But a couple things that I want to highlight here is opponent rank versus position. So we're looking at how they guard the point guard position. They allow the 4th most points per game, specifically to the guard position, which is what Props Madness tracks him at. You look over at Fantasy Pros, we're looking at point guards, 3rd most points per game to point guards. We're looking over at hashtag NBA, which in this case, we're looking at the last 30 days as opposed to the entire season. Not quite as good of a matchup, but still the 7th most points per game allowed to point guards. So still up there as a good matchup. And you hover down, you scroll down, not hover down, you scroll down to the play types, and it's just phenomenal. I mean, look at these top 4 play types, which I don't know, make up 85% of the way in which Cade Cunningham scores. Pick and roll ball handler, scores 35% of his buckets from there. They allow the 5th most points. Not only that, but they foul a ton. And guess who does a great job at getting to the line? Cade Cunningham. They foul at the 3rd highest rate. In transition, loves to run transition. 2nd most points per game via transition. It's not until we get to isolation, which is only 8% of his points, that we get to a category that they're not bottom 5 in guarding. And you look at players like point guards against the Raptors, it's fantastic. I mean, guys that we've recently targeted, Donovan Mitchell scored 33 points. We had him at 30 plus. Quickly, we had him, I think, over 17.5, but he ended up going 23 points. Only on 11 shots. He was incredibly efficient because of how bad their defense is. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is phenomenal, put up 37. In that same game, AJ Mitchell put up 20. The game before that, Steph Curry, 38. Kobe White, 25. Like, you just see these guards have huge scoring performances against the Blazers. And Cade, you know, it's been a tale of kind of 2 halves over his last 15 games. But if you look at him in the good matchups, like some of these games he went under, tough matchup against the Hawks, tough matchup against the Hawks, tough matchup against the Mavericks. Now, he had a really good matchup here against the Pacers where he went under. But more often than not, tough matchup against the Bucks, right? Twice up against the Bucks, who are somehow top 12 in terms of guarding point guards. But if we just look at like the top 10 matchups here, or even like the top half, 6 of 9 games he scored 30 or more points. Now, I was on him this game against the Pacers. That was frustrating. He went under. But more often than not, he's cooking in these good matchups. That's what he has today. So that's our first play. I know I talked a while about it, but that's our first play. Next up, I have a play here in our Rockets Suns game. And this is actually the under I have. It is, there we go. It's Mark Williams. I'm taking him under his rebounds. It's 8.5, minus 102 odds at FanDuel is the official play here. Sounds scary. taking an under rebound prop for a center, but let's look into it. First of all, right off the bat, he's averaging 9 rebounds per game, so his average is higher, but that's because he's had some blow-up performances. 16 rebounds against the Kings, 16 rebounds against the Thunder, 11 rebounds against the Kings, Warriors, and then 14 against the Thunder. But overall, he's gone over in only 8 of 18 games. He's hitting this at a 45% rate. So right off the bat, it's something that he consistently goes under. And then the matchup is incredibly difficult. Literally the worst matchup you can ask for a center rebound prop. And just a rebound prop in general. I mean, the Rockets, they're a tough team. They play at the 4th slowest pace. They're physical. Like, the part of their offensive strategy is basically just getting offensive rebounds, which means that there's not a lot of defensive rebounds to go around for a center like Mark Williams. And you hover over the matchup here. Rebounds allowed. Fewest. Literally the fewest rebounds allowed. Rebounds allowed to the center position. Fewest. Now, they allow a decent amount of offensive rebounds. They're top 10 in terms of rebounds allowed to offensive rebounds. But then defensive rebounds allowed, literally second. Defensive net rating, second, meaning there's a lot of missed shots, which would help which is why there's the offensive rebounds are a little bit higher, because teams miss a lot of shots against them, but pace 4th slowest. And you look at Mark Williams, you look at opponent rank versus position. There are 2 games in which he blew up his rebound prop over. 16 rebounds here against the Kings, 11 rebounds here also against the Kings. Well, guess what? The Kings are literally the best matchup in the NBA for center rebound props. You just take that matchup out. Literally look at every other team. It's 6 of 16 games, and then his average is just below 8.5 rebounds per game. So, yeah, in the juicy matchups, he goes over. Now, there's some juicy matchups he went under, like against the Pelicans. There's some tough matchups he went over, like against the Thunder. The Thunder allow the 4th fewest to the center position. But you look at games against teams in the top half, and this thing against the Spurs is a little bit misleading because with Wemby, they're a totally different rebounding team. So you almost have to take that game against the Spurs out, even if you leave it in. Teams in the bottom half in terms of rebounding, 3 of 8. Literally only gone over in 3 of 8 games, averaging under his average at 8.5 rebounds per game. You look at the bottom 10 matchups, 2 of 6, averaging 8.3 rebounds per game. So it's a tough matchup for center rebound props in a number that he consistently goes under. So yeah, I think this is a good play. That's our second play of the day. Next up, I do have a play here in Bucks versus Sixers, and I went with Ryan Rollins over 20.5 points, which is plus 102 odds at FanDuel. So that is the play that we're taking here. This is a situation where you can't look at the hit rate because there's very, very, very big injury news here. No Giannis. You look at games. So right off the bat, oh, he's only gone over in 8 of 23 games. That's disgusting. Well, games without Giannis, quickly becomes over in 5 of 6. Now, he missed in an incredibly juicy matchup against the Blazers. This was very, very frustrating. I believe I took him in this game. So that hurt my soul. Every other game, 25 or more points, and we're only asking him to score 21 in this game. Now, there is one thing that I do want to mention is Kevin Porter Jr. is now back for the Bucks. He has only played 4 games this year, and it looks scary. You're going to say, well, he's only gone over in 1 of 4 games with Kevin Porter Jr. Guess what? This was the game Giannis missed, and guess what? Ryan Rollins went over. So we don't have an example of a full game without Giannis and with Kevin Porter Jr., but we do have this game in which Giannis got hurt and Ryan Rollins put up 16 shots and he scored 22 points and he played 39 minutes. You look at the other games, 30 minutes, 31 minutes, 29 minutes. So he's going to play more. He's going to shoot more. And you look at his field goal attempts we're looking at field goal attempts in games without Giannis. He's averaging 20.2 field goal attempts per game. That's his season average is 14.3. So 6 more shots a game he's taking when Giannis is out. Now, sure, he probably won't take 26 like he did last game against the Sixers. Probably won't take 24 like he did in this game against the Heat. But if we look at games in which he's just taken 16 shot attempts, and then let's put him at or even 15, and let's max him out at 21, 4 games he's gone over in which he's taken between 15 and 21 shots. And I think 15 is a pretty safe floor considering there's no Giannis, which just means there's a ton of points to go around. So consistently goes over, check. Now the matchup is pretty good against the Sixers. 2 of 2 guards similar to him have gone over. Pick and roll ball handler, 35% of his points come from that. Second worst defense. Transition, another 18% of his points comes from that. Third worst defense. Now, spot up here is where another 20% of his points come from. He's not spotting up when Giannis is out. He's much, much more on ball. So the pick and roll stuff, the transition stuff is intensified, increased when Giannis is out. So I don't think that this spot up thing is as meaningful now that Giannis is out. He scores 40% of his points in the paint in the restricted area. Guess what? The Sixers have a terrible restricted area defense. They're terrible at guarding the paint, even with Embiid, their bad rim protection defense. So I think Ryan Rollins is a great look to go over 20.5 points. I honestly don't think Kevin Porter Jr. is a terrible look either. He's kind of similar in his scoring type. His first 2 games back, he barely did anything. And then his last 2, 15 shots and 18 shots. The matchup for him, it's a little bit different because we don't know what he's going to be like without Giannis. Like 43% of his points come from spot up. Is he still going to spot up as much with Giannis out? Like, is Ryan Rollins still going to be handling the ball, or is he going to handle it more? That part is admittedly an unknown, so I felt safer with Ryan Rollins, but I don't think that KPJ is a terrible look either. So that is our third play. Next up, I'm heading over to the Clippers Grizzlies, and I have a play backing Zubac. And this is going to seem random, but I'm taking him on the assists. I got over 3.5 at plus 118 at FanDuel. This is the exact price that I got. So yeah, you're going to look at 18 of 22 games. That's disgusting. But you got to look into it a little bit more. Number one, a ton of injury news in general for the Clippers. But the biggest thing here, and what impacts Zubac the most, is no Derrick Jones Jr. You look at games without Derrick Jones Jr., quickly turns in from over in only 8 of 23, whatever it was, to over in 6 of 9, which is a very nice number. Over in 6 of 9 without Derrick Jones Jr. Let's add in Kawhi. So yes, Kawhi, no Derrick Jones Jr., over in 5 of 6 games. You want to know one game in which he did go over in this stretch? Look at this matchup right here against your Memphis Grizzlies. He had 5 assists in this game. Now, that transitions us to the matchup, which is fantastic. The Grizzlies are the best matchup for center rebound props in the entire NBA. You hover over the matchup here, defensive rank versus position, 30th. They allow the most assists to centers in the entire NBA. Literally number 1, according to Props Madness. You want to look at, according to Fantasy Pros, number 1, your Memphis Grizzlies. You want to look according to hashtag NBA, the center position. We're looking at assists. Your Memphis Grizzlies are second instead of first, but still very, very good, allowing 6.2 assists per game to centers. And you look at Zubac. We'll just look at games against teams in the bottom half, bottom 10 is what I was looking at in terms of assists allowed to the centers. So I'm not looking at games with or without Kawhi, with or without Derrick Jones Jr. I'm just looking at every single game, teams in the bottom 10 in terms of assists allowed to centers. He's gone over in 5 of 8 games, including a game with 6, with 5. Now, he had some gross games with only 2, 1, but generally he's gone over in these good matchups. And you do this without Derrick Jones Jr., it's over in 3 of 3. You do this with Kawhi, it's over in 3 of 4. It's just fantastic how he's been doing with his assists recently. And just look at the matchup here. I mean, 9 of 14 centers have hit their over against the Memphis Grizzlies. It's just a fantastic matchup. That's play number 4. And then our last play of the video is also our juiciest. Heading over to the Mavs Thunder game, and I'm taking Max Christie, but I'm actually taking him on the 3-pointers, and I'm taking him 3+. So the price here is 3+ made threes. In the it was plus 220 odds at Bet365. It's plus 210 at Hard Rock. And if you can't use any of those, it was plus 172 at FanDuel. Now I'm unit sizing this one down a little bit. I'm only taking 3/4 of a unit instead of a full unit mix slam. But I do really, really like this play. Right off the bat, I mean, look at this price here. We're getting this at plus 220. Plus 220. And he's gone over this in 65% of his games. Literally 65% of the time he goes over, and we're getting it at plus 220 odds. That's crazy. Now, the Mavericks have had guys in and out of the lineup, right? You need to look like, okay, games with Ryan Nembhard over in 7 of 10. Games with where is he? D'Angelo Russell over in 6 of 8. In games with I mean, those are the main two. We'll add in Brandon Williams. With Brandon Williams over in 5 of 7. Like, we're looking at the worst of the worst matchups. And he's, or not matchups, worst of the worst in terms of guys being in. Still gone over in 5 of 7 games. Still averaging 29 minutes per game. So we know he's going to be on the floor no matter who's playing. Now, PJ Washington is listed as questionable. Everybody else is healthy. Games without PJ Washington, 2 of 4, but PJ Washington should help him being in. So I think it's kind of just noise that it's only been 2 of 4 games that he's missed. But 65% hit rate, that's for something with the odds we're getting is fantastic. Now let's talk about the matchup. It sounds scary. Oh, he's going up against the Thunder. The Thunder are the best defense in the NBA. You should never take anybody's over against the Thunder. There's only one spot where the Thunder defense is weak, and it's guarding spot-up shooters. We'll look at right here. Spot-up, they're the 7th worst, that's what it is, defense, guarding spot-up shooters. Related to that, catch-and-shoot opportunities, 7th worst defense in catch-and-shoot. Even more specific than that is the corner 3, and I'm showing you this on NBA.com. The Thunder allow the 5th most corner 3-point attempts in the NBA, and they're tied for allowing the 3rd most made corner 3-pointers. You want to know why all that stuff is important? Who makes the most catch-and-shoot 3-pointers on the Dallas Mavericks? Max Christie, even more than Clay. He makes more catch-and-shoot opportunities than Clay. Guess who takes not only the most on the Mavericks, guess who takes the 3rd most corner 3s in the entire NBA? That would be Max Christie. Takes the 3rd most, makes the 4th most. So everything kind of lines up perfectly for how Max Christie scores. I mean, you look at him, the Thunder specifically give up the most points per game. The 2nd most attempts. And like this left corner 3, that's where 23% of his shots come from. And it's a really, really good matchup for him. You look at how he has performed against teams in the bottom half in terms of spot up in his 3-pointer, over in 11 of 15 games. You want to know what happened the last time he played the Thunder? Made 4, took 8. That is very, very important. The fact that he took 8 3-pointers, because most other games, I mean, he's 3 of 8, 3 of 7, 3 of 6, 5 of 9 is good, 3 of 8, 3 of 5. He's not taking a ton of 3-pointers, but he's making them at a really high clip, and he just did this against the Thunder. Now, if you wanted to be safer, you could take his point prop at 8.5, which he's done in 14 of 15 games, which is crazy. You could take 10 plus, which is, I think, plus 120, which he's done in 11 of 15 games, which is crazy. But I think in this matchup, I think if he's going to score more, like, he only scores 75% of his buckets from non-3-pointers, but against the Thunder and how good their defense is, I'm kind of expecting it to be a game like this where he scores 14 points, but only 2 of them are from non-3-pointers. So I think it's more likely that, like, he makes 3 3-pointers, scores exactly 9 points, which in that case, I'm taking the plus 220 odds. So I know I went long in this video, but I had a lot of plays that I wanted to talk through. These are the 4 official plays that we are on. Cade, 30 plus points. Rollins over 20.5. Christie, 3+ made threes. Zubac, 4+ assists. And then the under rebounds from Mark Williams. I'll quickly go through my leans because I know this has been super long. Siakam has got a really good point matchup against the Bulls. Only thing that scared me off is he was scoring a lot at the beginning. And then the Pacers started to get some guys back, like Mathurin and Nembhard. And then you see his scoring has gone down a little bit. Siakam's has. So I held off of that one, but I think he's got a good look. I was looking at the over for, where's the Hawks game? Wherever the Hawks game is, there's a ton of injury news. Like, oh, here we go. Jalen Johnson. I need to know, is Kristaps Porzingis playing? If Kristaps is out, then Jalen Johnson is a great look to score points because he scored 25 or more in literally 7 of 7 games. He's gone 10+ rebounds in 5 of 7 games. So I think if KP's out, I think Jalen Johnson is a great add. But that's all we got. I don't want to go too much longer because it's already been super long. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.